couple things is important. If you start to stand up, there's a couple things you do. Your dominant hand. And this is important because striking is different on the grappling jiu-jitsu. If you are dominant with your right hand, usually in jiu-jitsu, you're going to go from here, and you got to see this is the collarbone, not down here. So you hold down here, just hold down here, then. It's easy for me to actually break his posture. It's pretty easy to break the posture right here. So you keep the hand on the collarbone, you create a frame. And that frame, for example, to try to reach out to the legs, this is what is going to create separation. So even from here, dominant hand and dominant leg on the front, go from here and you hold the tricep. Got it? You can switch that. It's not wrong to do it, but there is a lot of things you're going to do it, creating a space and giving a chest. Here again. So when it's starting, my right hand is dominant, collarbone, triceps here. And in a good posture. Got it? 1, 2, 3. Let's go. One thing, how to break this grip. And this is important because almost on the ground would be the same thing. So if you want to break the grips, number one, in jiu-jitsu, there's a lot of things that are allowed. They're not allowed in judo. Right? Number one, you can grab it from inside. You cannot put your fingers inside. You can grab it on the outside, which is really one of the best grips. You can't show takedowns without knowing grips, guys. This is important. So this is, what do we call this 4-finger curl grip. This is one of the best grips you can have even from the bottom. A lot of guys that just hold it, from here. This is what we call pistol grip. Pistol grip is something, hold it here. You try to break it, you can get it. Pistol grip goes a lot here inside. If you're one of the best ones you can get is a 4-finger. This is usually with the thumb outside. You get the thumb inside so you can make this kind of break it. Keep it to it, Danny. I'm posturing up. Keep it to Danny. And I started moving back a little bit. Now you have the both grips and connections. One more time. If I'm here, I'm not just controlling the triceps. I come from here, 4-finger, and I got the thumb inside. Now I have a modified pistol grip. The pistol grip is this. 4-finger with the thumb inside. It's a modified one. From here, you posture, you just can't lean forward. From here, you actually create a posture back. So keep it just then. I move back. Now I have the 2 grips. It's 2 in 1. Got it? One more time. It happens a lot. I got from here and control. Now I am in a much better situation than he was. Let's try to do this. 1, 2, 3. Now from here, the same curl grip, thumb inside. Same curl grip, thumb inside. Now this hand goes to the top. That's another one. This is really good for you to break the grips. It's almost the same thing on the floor. You got from here, don't lean forward. Every time you lean forward, is in a situation, you actually chest up and you lean back. But you have to move this away from the legs. This is what you have to understand. This is a frame. This is really create separation. He's going to be pushing and moving legs, especially if you go to single leg, double legs from here, right? So from this situation here right now, don't break it and you just keep it here. If you short distance, I think he's going to go back again. So this is pretty common. You break the grip and you just keep it here and he's just going to grab on you again. Hand on top, posture, break it, move away from you. Or move it inside so you can actually drop it and you have access to the legs there. I prefer to actually move it away. You got to understand this, because after that, in jiu-jitsu they don't do much of that, but in judo you're going to be seeing the guy making you move a lot. From here to making you move. Not just the shaking it. The shaking it is great for you to fake. I'm here, I'm faking. And I'm here, I'm moving. This is it. Moving is different than just shaking it up. I can shake it up here and fake it and go for somebody else on the other side. I'm just distraction with the shaking it. But if I really want him to move, I break it, I move. Now I put him a square up. If I want to come from here, to the inside leg trip, to coaching guard, there's a bunch of stuff that I can do from there. Right? So right now, this hand get out of collar, posture, move away from you. Now from here, step it, move it. And you just drop in, you single leg, double leg. Right now, I just really want you guys to break the grip and push it away. Got it? 1, 2, 3. Same grip, you break it, you come from here. Look what you're doing right now. We're going to do exactly what these guys are doing it. From here, raise it, the head goes under, and from here, go to the back. Got it? One more time. Do the same thing, break the grip. He's going to be starting to move into here. Head under, and from here, go to the back. 1, 2, 3. I'm in a situation I want to take the back. This is really efficient one. You know? I'm going to control the collar. I control the shoulder on one side, and this happens a lot, guys. If you're not strong enough, in wrestling, they're going to lift you up, and they're going to dump back to the floor. From here, you got to use the hip, move it from there, and the knee goes in so you can dump the guy on the floor. This is pretty well known in wrestling. In jiu-jitsu, from here, once you got the situation, you got the seat belt, and you can take the back. But even from the seat belt here, this is a seat belt, this is a belt. This is different because I'm not attacking his neck. Right here I am. This is important on the ground. Nomenclature-wise, that's what it works. So from here, I'm gonna wrap my leg around it, put the knee on the other side, and I control it this side here. I even can do the frame in the back of the neck, so I can even just sit down. I'm not gonna do it too because Thank you, come in here. His knees hurt. You gotta let him know. Seat belt, wrap it again. You can't stay here on the back. From the situation, I move it, wrap it, and control it. Now from here, let's go sit down, okay? From here, stretch it, and you take the back. From there is here. But this is from the top. This is not really a takedown, but you'll end up straight from the back. Foot on the way to the other side, and you put the hook. So your hand is already there. One more time. I'm here. Seat belt. The same side the hand is over. Leg, stretch it, and you put the hooks. Got it? 1, 2, 3. If you have the belt, right here, you can always, and we do this a lot in MMA, guys. If you have the belts right here, and wrestlers are pretty tough because they're going to start breaking this grip. They're going to, go from there. But if you're going from here, get your head in, and switch to a double. Easy to say it down, but from here, when you feel like you're going, you're circled to the front, and a double leg is there. That happens a lot in the no-gi, especially. From here, you started breaking it, you circle, and the double leg is right there. Right? Let's try to do this one. 1, 2, 3. From here. Wrestlers, they break the grip, bringing this lock to the hip bone. Move to the hip bone, and you started using the hip forward, you started going from there. You see that? For him, he's already in a situation here, he's doing it. Okay. Now, from this, if I can manage to bring my leg behind it, I was showing those guys here yesterday. Honestly, guys, this is just so efficient. It works in MMA, and it works in BJJ, it works in wrestling at a high level. From here, you just find out where the legs are, and you place your foot, you place your leg behind it. That's it. You guys, this is easy to carry, but even if it's not, the guy's too big or he started raising, get the posting hand. Posture up a little bit more. The posting hand is the hand that's going to be on the floor. So this is the hand that will be on the floor. I put my knee aside, and I'm just rolling in. And I'm in a situation right here. And let's go to the mount. Guys, this happens a lot in MMA. From here, the guy's falling on the cage. You try from here, if you can't get it, you start placing just like in the back. And now from there, I go to the back or I go to the front. He's just simply bringing the leg behind him. Got from here, and you choose where's the easiest side. Changes everything. Changes everything. Not just posting in, if I want to just get it, or if I can roll inside. It's a very smooth roll from here, you go to the mount. Let's try to do it. 1, 2, 3. From here, and you step back. Yes, do the step in the back. There you go. From here. Now,
The decker's not gonna like this here right now, but my reaction from here is the foot locks, is the knee bar. Got from here, and I'm doing this. I got the knee bar, where I got the... Don't let the decker know, he's there.
It's great.
Hey, it's good for you. Here goes to the back. Now from here, see his leg is in the middle. My hand is here on the top, and I can post his hand on the floor. Now this knee has to be behind his knee. This is the hardest part, is the knee goes behind it. Not in the ankle, common mistake is here. It has to be behind the knee. So this is gotta be a lunge. So from here, this leg goes over, and it goes straight to the honey hole. From here, or here, and you go from there. Let's try. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. When you go for half guard right here, and you do this pass with the knee shield. The knee shield is here, the guy's working on it. Number one is, if the guy knows how to do properly the knee shield, this knee is not gonna be always tied up down on the bottom here. They're always gonna be up high. So one of the first things you do at it, this is a balance here. It's gotta be real in the middle, because if you put a little bit on the outside, I am going to do this. I'm gonna be pushing it and underhook. So I have an under overpass. Really coming from here, the guy started, I push under over. Now I have an under overpass. This is the kind of thing that sometimes you bait him in a situation that you're here and you try to do. He started pushing him to get this knee out. I keep the hand in. So he's definitely going to be trying to move from there. But if my head pin the body, and the head is very important. And the under overpass, because his counter is on my head. I'm going to show the counter after that. But from here, he started moving it. He started push and get the hand under. Now if the head goes down, if this hand here push the leg down, Jimmy's going to start pushing it. I stretch the leg, cover, and I pass it from here. Got it? One more time. Do it one more time here. There's many ways to do this here right now, but you kind of bait him. He's going to square up, scramble it. There you go. And I pass it. I like this, what do we call the crossface is behind the neck to evolve to the underhook. Got it? Let's do it. 1, 2, 3. Under over position right now. He is here in the under over. So right in a position here right now. Instead of just pushing him, this is just a band-aid right here, framing and try to. If you're too flexible, you come from here, create the distance, and the flexible guys go all the way and pommel again. But from here, if he does right, correctly, his head got to be on my hip. You always pin him diagonal, guys. If you want to try to pass, your head is that way, and the body comes to this side here, right? This is usually is. Knowing this, even with the situation, right here, right now, my position is going to be in the head. So even from here, when he started passing, I push the head down, and I control the head and push to the other side. That's the moment that when he's here, you got to make sure that this head does not pin on the hip. If you really actually get his position on the hip, it's harder. So from here, I go to a situation that I'm trying to get this head at a little bit of distance and stretching the leg, and I push the head down. Now from here, you can build up to a quote crucifix on a position, or the flexible guys, you see there's a lot, is when you bring the head down from here, you got this arm, place the foot inside, and you started going to attack the arm for the arm bars here. If I'm going that way, just pushing in, you guys are flexible, go from here. As I'm not flexible like me, go to the arm. But with the under over is the head. Even if you pin in here, guys, sometimes you go from here and you push the head as you're moving your hip. Move your hip, I gotta move this leg. Right? Jordan's gonna start passing into slow motion. I'm doing this. I cover over. Like I said, flexible guys come from here, got from there, or if it's not, even from the situation, if the guy posture up too much, my foot goes to the other side to the triangle. Right there. I have the leg for triangle. But let's go back again. Under, over. You create some space in the head now. Stretch the head, move the hips. Bring it down. Bring the head to the other side. You got to cover this head, otherwise it's coming back again. If he does posture up, you didn't have time. Push it and pummel again. So you go back to safe. We're talking about this again. When you're under attack, and you don't know exactly what to do, go back to neutral. Cover, and after that you move. Not that, JP? There you go. Stretch and push the head. Cover with the head. You go, guys, from here. The guys that like this sweeps, you have tons of sweeps from there. Right here, I like this. Going to the top, so you go to crucifix position. Let's do the defense number one. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Now, the guy's really locked up. The good thing about this is even if he passes, that's it. If I can't get the pad on the floor, I'm still in good position. If from here, and sometimes, guys, I hate to say this, but it's the nose. Even if from here, I'm still in a good position. Let's go back again. Especially if I trap. I used to do this a lot, guys. From here, create that space, and I even put my foot inside. And I control the belt. It's hard for him to posture up. Even if he does posture up, I pinch my knees. I use this as sweep, and I go on my knees. There is a straight arm bar. If he brings the arm back, bring the arm back like you're just doing right now. I like this a lot because there's another arm bar here. I'm just controlling the legs, and I use this arm bar. Instead of working on here, I go to the legs, and I use this arm bar. So one more time. We're under over, create some space and come from here, even if the foot is inside. I control it, so I can build up. Now I'm going to crucifix at this side. There is a straight arm bar here. You usually defend and bring it back. Control the legs and move your hips to the other side. Right here. Let's try to do this. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. You know what a very common situation from this is when the guy shoot a single leg with the hand inside it. This is pretty common. It's the same thing. And he started going from here, just straight arm bar from here, switch it, and I go to here. It's the same thing. It happens a lot. You know, the guy shoot a single leg from here, try to build it up, he's controlling, go there. Come here, and I'm doing here, there you go. Control the legs, make sure you control the legs to avoid this guy to try to somersault, right here. Got it? That's really the same situation, almost it's the same situation. Now go back there again. Now I'm going to crucifix. Or even right here. I want to just go back something from, again, on a white belt position. I'm sorry if I'm not going to. But for my guys there, also, echelon front, and Cody, you started right now. It's a lot about how to get there. So, close guard. Pretty calm. The guy started fighting. You control the hands. Frame guard. Frame guard. Those that have not seen this here before, it's a very common sweep. You got from there. Now, frame guard. Lasso guard. Frame guard. Spider guard. It's all this open is that it's almost like the first step when you open the guard or where you go to. And from there you build up. Because you go for frame guard. That's what I asked the deco today. The deco, in the position on a knee shoot, how do you get there first? So this is pretty common. Frame guard, knee shield. Right there. And from here, tons of positions go start fighting here. Go from there, and there's X guard. It's a bunch of stuff they build up from there, but this will be one of the first steps on it. So just for the guys who started right now, but just get it, everybody. For close guard, even if you stand up, frame guard, oh, look at this. Now I'm already in butterfly guard, hook sweeps. There's a bunch of things that started from there. For the guys who started right now, there's a good understanding of which is this is the B. The A is a close guard. The B would be something like this. All right? Again, close guard, frame guard. And frame guard, you got to understand this. Frame guard, it can be both knees inside, Both knees outside. One in, one out. Oh, this is frame guard. Foot in the hip. That's from lasso guard. Those that know a little bit, even with the foot inside here, it's pretty easy to go. So let's try to just play a little around. I know that's for some of you guys, it's pretty easy. But let's do that. 1, 2, 3. It's the same thing. This is used to, guys, I used to do this a little bit, especially if the guys start keeping the elbows tight. You move the hips on one side, whatever it is. Now, lasso guard, work from here. Even if you have it, like we did, frame guard. He started passing on, create some space. I'm coming from here or even here. Get your foot inside. Now from here, switch it. See? I got one more from there. One more time. It all started from this, here to there, and you go. From here, I gotta make sure that his arm is taken. You know, he's gonna start passing on it. You go. Stretch it, pull the arm. You got the arm bar there. Let's try to do it. 1, 2, 3. Think about this position here. Is that from here, you try to take him down in a position here. You can always try to. This is in one lunge. From here to all the way to the other side, and you can get the arm bar there too. This transition has got to be fast, and you have to be hip to hip. One side here. You see, I started a lot with a lasso. It's much easier. When he started posturing up, and just make sure that he started moving right here. This happens a lot, and I stretch it in. Now, see, I have my right hip bone on the floor. Right here. I'm going to go all the way to the other side with the other hip. Now you got it. One thing, guys, I have to say something here. You know, like we were saying there today, you gotta, especially for the white belts, you gotta understand concepts. If you can see concepts, and concepts is this, guys. Let's go say down here. Concepts of levels. So right here, I have both knees on the floor. Is one level. This is a different level. This is a different level. He had to read my levels so he understand what kind of posture do I have. We're talking about this with Danny today, right? Danny was controlling here. If you stay here in this level, this is easy for him. I'll posture up a little more is different. More is different. That's and then one point that he got to switch. How much more your posture have is a lot of pressure on it. This is not really a position. This is a concept that you have to understand. This is a level concept. From here is this. Pretty common right here. It is distance. Guy has got a long legs. It's hard for you. You got to move in distance. Now it's much easier for you to take an angle. And believe me, guys, guard, passing the guard is like problems. You have to find a way. You can go side, over, under. There's a lot of ways to do it. You've got to find a way to do it. You just can't stay in the same place again, right? You gotta move. But your concept of levels, distance, angles are important. Because if you know this, even if you're being a white belt, come over here, and I'm here, I have a good understanding of distance. Happens a lot. Tough guys don't forget this. Movement is the enemy of submission. If from here you started moving a little bit, he can't really get you on position, or he doesn't know much what the next step is. That's when tough guys, athletic guys can really go further, especially if they have this understanding of this. Look at this. Oh, look at that. Angles. And he moved the angle. Go move the angle. Okay, I'm going to move the other angle. And I'm here. Look at this. Look at my level here. This is different than this. Those little concepts and understanding. And that's why jiu-jitsu is so brilliant, because you don't need much. If you learn how to frame and you create distance, even of a big guy here, it is not him muscle me up. It's him frame me in the same position he moves. Those little hipscapes are so important, especially for big guys, because that's when you're going to find out the space. Really, it's right here. He frames, and I put it on my weight, and he moves. He moves. Look at that. He creates that space, or he replaces, or he goes under. But it's not him lifting me up. It's him keeping me in the position while he moves. Those concepts are important. He got the concept of distance. If I don't move with him, don't block him, here's a big advantage on him. So this is a little important for everybody to understand. This is even for the white belts. Again, if the white belt knows what he's doing, he starts attacking here. Oh, okay, hold on. That's just the guy who knows. He's not doing really possessions. He's just have this good concepts up here, right here. He controls. Go to the back. Up here. Go from there. Oh, you start moving the angles. I'm choosing the angles. I'm changing the levels down from here. This is a concept of angle. From here, he pushes down. Now he's in a different angle. On me. Those things are important to be aware of it. Those are concepts. You're going to take this from white belt to the black belt. And the highest level, other guys, 5 steps. JP was talking about this today. Because I think Jocko has told him about the doors. Your blue belt, you have, when you open one door, there's 1, 2 doors there for you. That's jiu-jitsu. Purple belt, there's 3, 4, and black belt has 7, 10. When you open the door, there's 10 doors. You know, so all the positions that you're going to be choosing it, and you go from there. Of course, condition is going to work. Your flexibility, your stamina, all those things are going to place a space, but this is one of the only things that you can actually do it without too much effort or strength. Because you know in the concepts of levels, of distance, you know, it's on the floor. You can move it a little bit more. It's a slower than a stand-up. You know, this is important for everybody to know, so you can get concepts like this. All right, guys. Some of the guys asking me to try to work on this. Now, from the Libo guard, you control the hands. You go from here, move your hips, and you go all the way to a frame in the other side. Right there. Right here. So one of the first things, even if you start standing up, I'm going to the Caesar sweep right here, which is pretty common. I pull it, and I go over. This is going to happen if he does not change the level. Both knees on the floor, at least one knee is on the floor. One more time. From here to here. Now, go catch it. They even keep it this foot because he's going to try to straighten it up. I keep this foot, and I go to the mount there. So let's start with this. 1, 2, 3. My leg goes here, and I'm doing the same thing. And we're doing the number 1. Got it? If it switches stances, bring one leg up. I'm here. Go from here to here. Try to go from there. Oh, you go. The same position that we did before. Let's try it. 1, 2, 3. I'm doing this again. This is a kind of guard. This guard was created because Ricardo Arona, and I think I told this guy here before, he used to have this killer pass or the smash pass from here, which is really, the only thing that I was doing is just try to bring this leg over and try to get the arm, you know, the arm drag from there, but it really was hard to get it. So what I was started doing, it was here, pushing here to here. And it started changing because it was hard for him to reach out to my neck or even to pass. I initially start from here. Then you're gonna posture up, and from here, it was just a way to go back to guard, right? But everything started from this situation. I got from here, I create space, and I lock it up on this side. He started moving it, okay, square up a little bit better on the situation, right? But I started doing from here, from the guard to over. And one of the ones that really started hitting out, especially when he started posturing up, I go from here and I place this up inside. And this was pretty easy. You know, one more time. From both arms to here and here. He started moving, he started posturing up. I got this foot inside here. Slowly without having to do it. And from here, arm bar or triangles. Got it? One more time. Go from here, inside, arm bars or triangles there. Let's try to do it. 1, 2, 3. What happens here if you just pass it and go to the side here? No? And this way, don't forget that if he does short distance for me here right now, I'm always gonna go back to try to go to the arm drag, always. Now, if you do this, create a space and place your foot inside. Even if you started going that way, let's say he takes his hand out and you started going that way, you always have that spider guard sweep right there. It's almost like a baby. You let this guy go to the side. I'm just creating a space from here to here. So if you started pulling out, if I pull this arm out, I'm controlling here on the collar. Why? Because the collar also is a frame. If he comes closer, I can keep distance. If he posture up, I can bring it down. Now I place this foot inside. Switch. Now he's coming in. Even if this leg is inside, I'm all the way here, all the way down there. Now it's a spider guard sweep. Sometimes the guys stand up with everything. The guy from here, the guys stand up with everything. Posture up from here. What I do is here to inside to max guard. Now kick it back, max guard that way. Well, if they got posture forward, I stretch it and I'm going to this side. Happens a lot when they posture up. Again, reading the levels. You have to be able to read levels. If I stayed in position, or he's faster than me, that means that I really was able to read this guy well. Again, from here to here. See that? Every time that he started, if I say break the posture here you go. I control the collar and I place his foot in. Now I'm in the spider guard. Johnny's going to start passing the guard there. It's okay for me. Look here. Posture, hand in the butt right here. Because even if you sprawl there. Sprawl with everything. Sprawl with everything. If my hand is inside and I move my hips in, I still can go. This is one, it happens a lot. When I have control of both sleeves, it's perfect. It's awesome. But I started doing this, Johnny sort of change the level, break the gap, and I control the collar. Understand this here, guys. Look, if my elbow is inside, it's perfect for other things. If my elbow is outside the leg, I always can go to the triangle on this side. That happens, I switch everything. The first triangle that I showed him is working on this. Now that he broke it, I control the collar, bring it outside, triangle or armbar. The same way. Especially if they pass it, it is started going for that collar, exactly what it is. One more time, let's do the same thing. 1, 2, he broke it. 3, he keep coming. See this foot here on the hip? Look at that. I got it there. 4, he keep coming. Armbar there. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3.
So important, which builds culture. And the whole leadership yesterday opened up even more the eyes for how important it is to talk a little bit about not just the past, the present, and the future on it, but for those that don't know, Dedeco was always a stud. He was always a higher level. Dedeco trained with De La Riva since he was a kid. I know him from a long, long time, and he was always one of the best De La Riva students in there. He's always one of the best competitors De La Riva really actually had. You know, national champion, Pan-American champion. He's been winning everything, you know, for absolutely forever. So I don't know how much you guys have it, but I talked to Steve and some of the guys, how important for you guys to understand your lineage. Your lineage inside the jiu-jitsu is really like what kind of university you came from. It really is going to talk about how legit you guys are from and how close you are from the source of everything. So just going a little bit, and I know that you're just hanging out with me. Jiu-jitsu started in India, passed to China, went to Japan. Maeda Koma was a student of Jigoro Kano. He broke away from Jigoro Kano when judo was formed. Before it was jiu-jitsu. So they formed judo to fit into the educational system, into the Olympics. And from that, a lot of guys continue with the jiu-jitsu because it was an art of fighting. And so a lot of guys like to fight. In the old days of the vale tudos and, you know, whatever it takes there. From there, Jiu-Jitsu was supposed to, Maeda Coma went to Brazil, taught Carlos Gracie, taught Helio Gracie. Carlos also taught Carlson Gracie, which is the oldest son. And we always talk about Helio because Helio was a big champion of the family. He was the first champion of the Gracie family. He was beating everybody. It was the old days before UFC. It was the Vale Tudos, which was just match in between, clash of the styles. For those that have seen the UFC 1, that was exactly what it was. Jiu-Jitsu against capoeira, against boxing, against, judo, against anything it goes. There was not, this is way before. Just for understanding, Vale Tudo was first, and after that came the no holds barred, and after that came the MMA. The MMA is a sport that's completely different from the old days and everything. We were fortunate enough to be on a base of that, To those that don't understand it, this is what generation for the Deco. In 1991, Jiu-Jitsu grew so much as a sport there, and there was a rival martial arts called Luta Livre. In 1991, the Luta Livre guys challenged the Jiu-Jitsu guys for a competition. And this was important for two reasons. Number one is, at the time, Carlson Gracie was the captain, was the head coach of the Jiu-Jitsu team. And it was the first time the Jiu-Jitsu got together. All the guys were usually competing against each other to train together at Carlson Gracie school to compete against the Luta Livre guys. And Jiu-Jitsu won everything. But at the same time, was the first time this thing was aired live on, in a prime time, 8 o'clock at night. And this was a shock to everyone in Brazil. It was a shock to everyone. Human cockfighting, this is terrible. This is really the worst of a reputation of Jiu-Jitsu get there was associated with the fighting thing. At the same time, every teenager kid in a room in Brazil wanted to do Jiu-Jitsu after that. And it changed everything. We got that before it was cool. Me, De La Riva, we grew up. De La Riva was one of my first friends ever. For those that don't know, and you guys are so connected to De La Riva from the Deco and me, because I grew up with De La Riva. We're 14 years old, and he was 2 years older than me, or 3 years older than me. But we're getting in a bus together because we don't have driver license, and my first girlfriend, the uncle of my first girlfriend brought me to Jiu-Jitsu. His name is Carlos Rosado. Rosado is the only guy who got the red belt directly from Carlson Gracie. And this guy brought me to Jiu-Jitsu, and I met De La Riva, and it was like, really one of my best friends, and we grew up together on this. I introduced him his wife. He hates me for that until today. Just kidding. But my girlfriend's cousin, it was De La Riva's wife. So we always together. We grew up together. When De La Riva opened up his own school, I was there with him on our first classes. From him and Alexei was a kid. I took Alexei from the benches to try to bring it in, to go to the training. And really, this is where you guys are from. If you're a part of this lineage, from their Formiga, from their Tattoo, from their, Alexei and all the black belts from the Deco there, this is where you're from, And in 1991, inspired UFC. 1993, UFC was created, after 1991. And that's how transition from there. 1993, Royce Gracie come up and they show a lot of skills that nobody see it in Brazil. Everybody knew what it was, but nobody really is seeing here and outside. And he changed the martial arts scenario because this little guy was beating on the big guys, and you can see it today why. It's lever on the floor. It's not too much of a restraint. It's creating space and creating movement and creating lever, and it really is, Jiu-Jitsu nowadays, guys, you grow so much for one reason. You cannot do wrestling or Muay Thai or Judo after a long day of work. It hurts too much. And you come over here, you can move it, and you're going to really train. You're not going to be doing katas in front of the mirror. You're really going to train. For you to be promoted, you're going to get sweaty. You're going to prove that this is for real, and it's already proved it. But you can do this after a long day of work. Jiu-Jitsu nowadays is used way more as a form of therapy. And I'll talk about this for law enforcement. It's not just, and I always say this, I'm going to repeat what I said yesterday. Most likely, if you're military or law enforcement, you're going to have a much better chance to use this than a civil guy like me, you know? And if you're not an athlete, you're not a military or law enforcement, you're probably never going to use this if you don't find it in the streets, you know? It's good to have it, but it's way more of a form of a therapy, physical, mental, social, than anything else in the world, especially if the environment is right. And that's what you have over the deco, because you have the best of the two worlds. The best of the two worlds, higher level jiu-jitsu, and at the same time, the culture. I always say that, and Ricky would say, coming over here, see Ricky, I always call him Ricky, you know, always will. Let's get talk Johnny, I call him Johnny, Jimmy. I always in it. Having my Alzheimer's kick in, it's always like this. But the best thing you can have in the world is when you go to the gym and you can hear babies crying in there. You know that you're in the right environment. You know, that's what you want to bring your family to it. I'm just talking about this because it's important for you guys to understand where you came from and how fortunate you are to have people like this big guy here. You know, that's it. Give it up for Deco.
Hey guys, welcome to the BJJ Collaborative. Today we're with Ricardo Liborio. Liborio, thank you so much for the great seminar. I was telling some of the guys earlier that were here that I've been teaching and showing stuff you've taught me maybe 14, 15 years ago in seminars you've taught in the past.
This is so cool, dude.
Oh, I love every time you come. There's a ton of stuff I always take and I pass on. And again, thank you so much for coming down. Thank you for allowing us to do this show here with you.
Just impressed about this, Danny. Is that I've been coming over for 18 years or something like this. I remember you guys from day one. From the old days.
Yeah.
And you are one of the old school guys.
Yeah.
I love it. And every time we come it's just getting bigger and bigger and better. You know, people are so into this. I think the Northeast, in a certain way, it's connected with the sport so much.
Yeah.
And the way I see it, because the way I see it is there's so much of a therapy there too, you know?
Yeah.
There's so much of a being part of a community.
Well, I loved what you said too at the end when we were talking and you know, you're answering the questions. And you know, you had the competition side of it, which is super important.
Right.
And then the martial arts side of it, which was, you know, you got to make sure you enjoy it, you love it, and also it's a therapy.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to compete, you know, you have to have that mindset of you're going to train as much as humanly possible, and you have to want to do it. You have to have that desire to win and be selfish about it. But as a martial artist, you know, just come in, have fun, work hard, and show up every day and punch the clock. You know, that was beautiful.
That's showing every day, punching the clock after a bad day, because the bad day is or no motivation. This is like a corny thing to say, but that's the key of success for everything, man.
Yeah.
For absolutely everything.
Yeah.
You're saying about this, you know, from relationships to your job, your work, that sometimes you're not happy about it, the boss or anything. You just gotta come back on the next day.
Yeah.
Don't bitch too much about it, especially if you can't do things. You do things to change it, but you come back in the next day, man. This is the key for success for anything in your life.
Yeah.
Anything, any progression in your life.
Yeah.
That's something about showing up.
Put the time in.
Put the time in.
Yeah.
Put the time in, you know?
Know what I was going to ask you too, that I remember you started this, I want to say it was years ago. I remember you talking about it and then it took off, is teaching jiu-jitsu at the colleges. Because a lot of, like a college, usually you hear, oh, we have a club. It's kids just getting together and train. But you actually have a jiu-jitsu team for the college.
No, I have a class.
Oh, okay.
This is what happened. When I got into class, it was funny. And I'll tell you exactly what happened there. What happened was this. I just got out of American Top Team, and I initially decided to start working with another brand that I have, which is the Martial Arts Nation. And I thought, well, I'm doing almost the same thing. I'm doing a franchise or a licensee, you know, with gyms. One more understanding on the business side, because without the business knowledge, you know, you can't progress. You know,
yes.
And you got to cater and separate it for people that wants to compete and people that is doing a recreational side.
Yeah, it's a hard balance.
It's
sometimes.
a balance. And sometimes even you can't put them in the same environment.
Yes.
You know, and it's pretty hard to manage there. Especially because culturally,
like we were saying, the fighters have to win, and you have to be selfish.
Yeah.
And you have, in a certain way.
And I remember you saying that too about like being a coach at American Top Team with MMA as well. It's the same thing.
100%.
You have a fighter can't be jumping in, or the average hobbyist with it just doesn't work.
No,
it doesn't work.
Somebody's gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
But both ways. Sometimes you got this white belt wants to prove something, and most likely the opposite guy that was and you so used to mentally to train hard.
Yeah.
You know, and go there with a hobbyist blue belt and
yeah.
You know, and go for the hurt.
Yeah.
This is pretty common.
Yeah.
But initially, I thought about, okay, let me do it again. Would have done it in, you know, in other occasions, Brazilian top team, American top team. I think, okay, let's work on martial arts nation, but a little bit more catering to the average guy.
Yeah.
But forget this. This is for real. This is statistic coming from my BJJ.
Yeah.
3% of people that train jiu-jitsu compete.
Yeah.
3%. 97% are their hobbyists, recreational therapists.
Yeah.
You know, that's it.
Yeah.
And kids, and it's not a competition. 3% is competition.
Yeah.
This came from my BJJF president. This is a real statistic.
Yeah, yeah.
And a micro percentage are the champions.
Oh yeah, yeah.
A micro percentage is the champions. The guys have been doing everything for quite a while, perfectly, to the T.
Yeah.
But initially, so I would do the same, and I look for, this is what's interesting, UCF. I look at UCF and I find out, I actually Google UCF martial arts. When I put a UCF martial arts, came up a name, David Fukuda, which actually Dr. David Fukuda, who is in charge of the kinesiology department there.
Oh.
I look at Facebook, and I saw that David Fukuda has one friend in common with me, which was George. I say, George, do you know David? He says, yeah, I know that. He actually was talking about jiu-jitsu. And we put this triangle together. Oh. So this guy, George, introduced me to Dr. David, who right after that, I've had a meeting with him. I have a lunch meeting with him, and they say, I want to start doing something with the university. I said, man, I had an idea of actually having a jiu-jitsu class.
Yeah.
Real credit course jiu-jitsu class.
Oh, so they get credits and everything? Wow, that's awesome.
Credits.
That is great.
It's 3 credit course inside of UCF for the Department of Kinesiology. So I started with 1 class.
Yeah.
And developed to 4 classes now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Because the levels are started coming in.
Yeah,
There's a beginning introduction of the sport.
Yeah.
Level 2, you know. And we're going to level 3 right now, but I have 2 classes on level 1 and 2 classes on level 2.
Wow, that's awesome.
And every class with 40 students.
Really?
Yeah. So it's 160 students on a class.
Yeah.
Plus you have the club that we have 500 students now.
Wow.
In 2 years. A lot of those, my students, have started going to the club.
In 2 years, 5. Wow. That's amazing.
It is the biggest club at the University of Central Florida.
That is amazing.
It's Jiu-Jitsu club. The biggest club.
Just showing you how big it's getting.
That's big it's getting.
Yeah. And again, it goes back to that thing of what does it do for you physically, mentally, the camaraderie it builds.
The camaraderie.
Yeah.
We're talking about this with those guys, you know, from Echelon Front. You know, the leadership team that was here from Jocko and JP.
Yeah.
And how this is a great fit in a certain way, because like it or not, there is some sort of hierarchy. There is the discipline.
It's very close to being paramilitary.
Correct.
Very,
Correct.
Senior guys, ranking guys. Yeah.
Correct.
Discipline, listening.
The respect in a certain way. That all this is very relatable to law enforcement and military life, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what translates so well. Some of those guys come out of that life and they got thrown in the civil the civil life, and they are lost.
Yeah.
And this guy's doing construction. It's completely different. He came from military. Now he's at a completely different job.
Yeah.
Until he discovered jiu-jitsu, and the therapy side is there.
Yeah.
Because it's something very similar.
Yeah.
And traditional. In a way, it's tradition.
Yeah.
Tradition not just for the gi. The gi for us is a tool, but tradition of the hierarchy, of the lineup, or this is all.
Yeah, the rules of the academy, and even unwritten rules like that that get passed on, but almost aren't even said anymore, right? The bowing in and off the mat, the shaking hands.
Those, Danny, at the same time, you see that there is an unwritten rules but the new guy has to be aware of that. And that transmission of the culture has some way, somehow, to be passing on it. Today we sit down there, we're talking about the past. How this was formed. I know that you know this, it's natural, you're researching on it. But a lot of the white belts had no clue how much we're so close to the source of the sport, and who created sport. You know, and how important for us to understand the lineage, which is like, you know, you go to UMass and you go to the, you know, Broward College. It's a different story.
And I love it every time, like whenever you talk about that, I mean, that goes back to, again, the taking pride in your lineage and going back to the idea of why you wore a patch on your gi, and when you did compete.
I never thought of that, but it's true.
And why when you did compete, it was, you know, it's selfish, it's for you, but you represented your team, you represented your coach. I always wanted Deco to look and be proud that I went out if I did well, and or how I carried myself in the gymnasium, wherever you were. I mean, and again, you're so right too. We're making sure the new students get that by making sure you as a coach, you pass it on properly.
And how you do this. This is always a vehicle of communication. It's an educational vehicle, because you have to pass it on so they can understand why, or how, or why we think this way. We're talking about it. Those little things are important. Because Danny, you're so close to the source of everything. Look at this, man. In your case, look at this, Danny. And there's a lot of guys that are not like you. Champions are winning right now. I'm telling you right now. Look at this. Let's put it, I'm taking myself out of the scene, but let's put it this way. Let's put it, Carlos Gracie, from the creation really of the jiu-jitsu that we as know it, Carlos Gracie, Carlson Gracie, De La Riva, me, Dedeco, you. Look at this. So how close you are from the source of everything.
It's hard to say that with Taekwondo, karate.
You can never do this. You can backtrack. There was no record of this. So you find out exactly who leads you to there. You don't have it. You know, it's just so really close to it. And it's not just a pride thing, but it's historical. 10 years ahead, it's not going to be like that, brother.
No.
You know, you probably already have black belts of your black belts. Don't you? Almost there.
It's getting close. And you know what's crazy? It goes fast. It's almost like when we were talking about kids. You look and you go, "Oh, my oldest son is going to be 23. My son's going," and it's, "Oh man, that went fast." It goes fast.
Crazy. How crazy. But we gotta pass it on, and this is important because that's a part that's culturally is not passing on to us. We don't have written books. So we don't have this tool of communication. So this resenha, which by the way, this is what you're doing right now. What are we doing right now? Just talk.
So how do you pronounce that?
Resenha. Resenha is spelled R-E-S-E. Now N-H-A. N-H-A in Portuguese, which is a little bit different. It's called nha. Resenha. In Spanish, it'll be resenha. In Portuguese, it's resenha. Resenha is a hangout. It's at the afterwards that you're training, you're dripping, and you're just doing a resenha. You're there for the resenha. You're just for the stay with your friends, just hanging out.
You're getting. That's where you create those bonds.
Yes, 100%. And everybody beat up. You just beat me up. I'm all red all over. Holy crap, man, this was good. And you can't understand. You just got beat up, and you're saying that you had a great training.
What other sport would you, or I say sport, but martial art, where you're looking and you're like, man, great job, you just really choked me.
That's true.
Great job, you just armbarred me. Great job, you hurt me.
That's true.
But that's so funny. But
it's cultural, man. This is something that's cultural.
So Liborio, so you Brazilian top team. You Bustamante, right?
Me, Bustamante, Mario Sperry.
Oh, Mario Sperry, that's right. How could I forget?
Bebel Duarte too. Duarte was also.
So then it went from there, and then you started American top team, Dan Lambert, all that. So when you were there, without a doubt, American top team had to, or is, if not still, has to be the biggest martial arts academy in the U.S., right?
But team.
For teams, like combat.
or fight
Combat
teams,
sports.
which is different. It's fight teams. You know, different. There are so many high. People don't realize this.
Like a Gracie Baja, you mean?
Gracie Baja is at 1,000
Yes.
license right now.
Yeah.
And AKA,
Yep.
not AKA, ATA, America Taekwondo
Oh, yeah.
Association.
Yeah, huge.
2,000.
Yeah, huge.
2,000 schools all over.
Yeah.
So it's not about the license itself. It's in fight team. This must be one of the biggest ones.
Yeah, yeah.
It must be one of the biggest and successful ones.
Yeah.
You know?
So how did that? So you, like you were saying earlier, you spent 20 plus years easy coaching the highest level fighters.
Yeah.
So it was, you know, nogi, wrestling, MMA, traveling all over. Now that looking back on that, what were some of the like moments, or what were some of the things that you really, you know, you really love, you really, you know, you maybe miss, and or what did you learn from it to make you, because I remember at one point saying you wanted to come back more to not just the combat sport competition, but come back more to the martial arts and or teaching everybody, you know.
I think this is it's so hard. No, it's very, very distinct jobs.
Yeah.
The coach job and the martial arts instructor job.
Yeah.
Because the instructor is way more in the part of the leadership.
Yeah.
And then way more in the recreational and the therapeutical side of things. You got to make sure. Now, this technique is flawless, and you acquire high-level techniques that works with competition.
Yep.
100%.
Yep.
Or at least study a lot of competitions. You know what will work or not work for competition, not self-defense.
Yes.
For competition.
Sport specific.
Sport specific.
Yep.
It will be different, but you gotta go dive into what's have been done and what is good, and you create something that we used to call the lab. You know, we used to call the laboratory. The laboratory is a place like this where we spend hours and hours watching tapes and go over what would you do here. Switch your hands here, do this here, you know, change the angle here. And we create new positions from the positions that we've been done.
Yeah.
So it's a lab.
Yeah, that must have been amazing to be in that room though. Because you're just brainstorming.
Let me just tell you, this is a good story. Arona, you remember Ricardo Arona?
Oh, of course.
And at one point there, Arona, to see how disciplined this guy, but people don't realize, Arona was one of the most successful ADCC fighters ever. Stud.
Yeah.
He never got scored 1 point in ADCC.
That's unreal.
Never. Unreal.
Yeah.
Never. This guy used to drive from a city called Niterói, which is completely on the west side of there. He goes drive all the way to the East Coast, all the way, 1 hour and a half every day. 1 hour and a half, 2 hours, all the way down there to the Baja, which was my gym. He gets there 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, and we spend 3 hours doing this, what we call the drilling, the laboratory.
Yeah.
It is tapes and watching and moving and doing things, and we drill. And we stop, and we go back again. No, try this way. Drill. For 3 hours. 3 hours of drilling.
And back then, too, that's way ahead of what people were thinking.
And at one point, there was a card, we called the Niterói card. There is Arona, Gabriel, Shark, Matraca, and a couple other guys coming every day for that training.
Yeah.
That was the World Championships. Everybody got a World Championship except for Gabriel, took second place.
Was that Gladiator Gabriel Santos?
Gabriel Santos,
He's
exactly.
so cool.
Gladiator.
He's so cool.
Exactly, Gabriel.
Yeah.
Exactly him.
Yeah.
So from all those guys, he took silver medals, everybody took the gold. Everybody.
That's amazing.
Brother, it was here, driving all the way there for 3 hours of drilling, and go back here in the center, which is Carson Gracie and Copacabana, train there like a 1 o'clock afternoon, and go back home to train in their conditioning at night there.
And that goes back to like what you're saying, punch in the clock, put in your time, work hard and go. That's it.
Every day. You know, it's a car. They actually have to share the gasoline to go there all the way, and they really pull in one carpool to go back here again. So what is the sacrifice? But it's really paid off for these guys. You know, they're one of the
brought it to a whole nother level, right? Brought to a whole nother level. And even now, like, because there are more schools you don't have to do that anymore. Like, I almost feel like, because I remember even myself in New England, to come to the Decos, there was one point where it was about an hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes. And there was another point where it was 2 hours. So, and now when I hear somebody go, oh man, I have to drive 30 minutes. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? You got to make 30 minutes. That's great. You know?
In the cold, in the snow.
Yeah.
All the snow.
Yeah.
You got to go all the way from
So, I mean, you know, to think about it too, like just everybody piling in that car, coming to see you, coming to train, do the work, you putting the time in with them, sitting down, watching tape. That is a lot of work. That is a lot of work.
But there's one thing about this too, brother. Danny, you're going to understand this pretty well. For us, you're the same thing. You know, you and me, for us it's easy because we love what we do. We love it.
Yeah.
We have something, man, that is a blast in a way because, look, a lot of people investing in money, which is completely understandable, the money side, we can understand. But the money will make difference when you're older and you're not spending the money anymore.
Yeah.
And you have to have passion in life. So you can, passion is life for us. And for a lot of those guys, don't have other passions.
Yeah.
And if you don't find passion, it's going to be home.
Yeah.
And home is death.
Yeah.
When I say home, I mean,
sad.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you get really older, if you don't have passions in your life, I tell you, this happened to my father. His passion was in working on a bank, and he worked in a bank.
Yeah.
And after he retired, 5 years later, he was dead.
Yeah.
You know, he couldn't find a passion for after that. Danny, you need the deco.
Yeah.
We're going to die on the mats, man.
Yeah.
We're going to die on diapers on the mats. If that's exactly what it was going to be. Walk in with a walker.
Yeah. I joke around. I tell my son, I'm like, when I can't walk, just drag me on the mat and I'll hang out.
That's it. That's his. You're going to be doing Hezenia. You're just going to be there to laugh about this.
Yeah.
But we have the passion, which a lot of people don't have it, Danny.
Yeah.
And it's hard when you're young to drag your families in it, to make them understand how much this is important to us, but how much more this is caring. Because when you go there and you do that kind of job, like you're doing it, like I did at the time, you love your guys, man.
Yeah.
This is your brotherhood.
It becomes your family.
It's your family.
Truly becomes your family.
And you're doing things for your family, like you do it for them. You go the extra mile, you do it every day. Sometimes you even take that time with your own blood family to go there with the guys on the weekends. And so all this is part of a new, real family, and that's your, you know, you're in a borderline, you're in a war, and there's trenches, you know, with those guys. And that's the bond. And that's the brotherhood. And that's the passion. That's really gonna keep you alive for a while. You can't put it out with a lot of things in terms of money. Could you be working in Wall Street and making a lot of money? Yeah, you could. If your passion is this, it's okay. But you're probably not doing it for the money. You're doing it for the drive of it. Because you're not going to have, you can have 50 yachts. You're just going to use one. You're just going to do the suit and whatever it is that you have it on. And I'm not saying that's wrong or right. I'm not judging. But as long as you have passion. We do have passion for it. We're dedicating our life for our passions. It's something that it may pay the dividends when you're older, because older is regret. If you have not done it, the worst thing in the world is being bad against it. It is the regret. Regret that I should have done this. And that's what everybody says. And when you go to hospice, that's what it makes sense. Which is the regret now.
And what type of person are you going to be when you hit that age too, where you know you have limited mobility? Usually, people that are grumpy and hate life is because they weren't happy with their life. So now, when you're not as mobile, you're not out there. You know, you're not that happy. You want to be I want to be the happy old man. You know, right? You see that person, brother, happy-go-lucky.
You spend time with your family and you spend time with your work. That's two things that really is very acceptable in our community, society. And if you love both of them, man,
you're doing something right.
You're doing something right. As much as you're always going to be the greener side of the other grasses, but just come back in the next day. Don't listen to the inner bitch.
The inner bitch. That is so. So
don't listen to the inner bitch, man. Just don't listen. You're gonna always have a inner bitch here. It's gonna be telling you how hard it is, you know, how low you are, how whatever.
Yeah.
Don't listen to it.
Yeah.
It's just come back in the next day.
Yeah, just push on.
Let's push on.
Yeah.
You know, it just get better and better and better until the point that it's all right now. I'm back teaching classes.
I was just going to say that. So you have the call. So you move from ATT. You have Martial Arts Nation, and you have the college. So how is Martial Arts Nation? How is the school?
So this is what happened. Martial Arts Nation is supposed to be the new company, a new progression.
Yep.
When I started teaching the college, I just fall in love with that so much.
Yeah.
It's
And that's a
just
great
so
age
much.
bracket too, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah, some funny kids,
and I
I'm
see
sure.
it, man, and I see it so much because freshman comes in
Yeah.
with all that attitude,
Yeah.
with all that,
Yeah.
thinking that they know the
Yeah.
world, they
Yeah.
own the world, they know everything about
Yeah.
it. And they put this on a face that looks like a real adult. But you're
Yeah.
18 years
Yeah.
old.
To you, it looks like a kid. To them, yeah.
And I walk in, and 2 weeks later, they're back to being the kids.
Yeah.
They're back being because you got to create this environment that they feel like they can belong.
Yeah.
They feel they can be themselves. And I do this so well, man. I love this so much, and I started spending more time with UCF and more time with it, and we grew.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah.
We put 500 kids on a club.
Yeah.
500 kids in a club. Almost 200 kids on a classes itself.
Yeah.
And this thing's just snowballing. Now we have guys, they're, graduation in 4 years. We have all this alumni coming back in just to every year.
And also, too, I would imagine you're getting people from all over, right? The diversity of the group must be
unreal.
unreal.
My God, it's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
I love the diversity, man. I really do love diversity.
Yeah.
I think it's so important. There's one thing we don't judge over there, too.
Yeah,
in terms of, we don't care about your religion or your color of your skin,
people
or sexual
from all over the
orientation.
world, right?
All over the world
going to that college, right?
All over the world. All over the world. And it is Florida, which is more diverse. It's, than ever. But it's a good environment beyond anything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
This thing is, I fell in love with that. UCF booming, it was blooming until COVID hit it and they shut down the doors.
Yeah.
So when they shut down the doors, I said, wait a minute, I got to go back to open a school. So I opened a school in Lake Nona, which is the best neighborhood in Orlando there.
Nice.
It's very nice. It's very expensive.
Yeah.
Which is, for us, is really, if we get to rental there is really, really, it's hard.
Yeah, the rent has got to be through the roof.
Through the roof.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
And what are you getting for square footage per X amount of dollars?
You know how much I get to square footage? It's $60
Wow.
a square foot. $60.
Wow.
This is like, if you have 1,000 square feet, which is nothing, you pay $6,000, but if you have 2,000 square feet, it's $12,000 a month.
Oh my God.
It's just really Manhattan prices. I don't know exactly what it is. But we're in the right place. The school booming in 3 months. We put 70 people there.
That's unreal.
Yeah, it was unreal. It was really, really cool. 3 months. In 3 months, we're paying our bills. Everything.
Now, is that under Martial Arts Nation?
Yeah, under Martial Arts Nation.
Oh, okay.
Which I put it on a hold because I was so in love with the university things, man.
Yeah.
And it's still something. My love is still in doing something for all the colleges.
Yeah.
My goal. So I create.
Well, I remember years ago you were mentioning when I was, because I still live in Rhode Island, but my school moved to Mass, like literally over the line. And I remember you were mentioning about the colleges and possibly getting one in Rhode Island, and and I said, oh wow, okay, because right before you mentioned that to me, there was a school, UMass Dartmouth. I had a student that said he had a club and he wanted to start getting it as a legitimate team. And I didn't have the right people. Like, you need to have somebody to write the proposals and all, however that works. So I was doing it myself, very uneducated, sending emails to people. And their big concern was liability. And I'm like, well, they have wrestling and football, but they were concerned about liability. And then when you came and you mentioned that to me, I said, oh,
but Danny,
they must have figured out the recipe on how to do this.
But imagine this. Imagine if you have somebody, one of your students, to be an assistant or an adjunct professor inside there.
Yeah.
Or adjunct instructor inside the university. This is what happened to me is this. got a degree, and I have to do it. For you to be a professor, you have to be an MBA, at least, master's.
Yeah.
But if you make things in your sport, you can be accepted that as your MBA. If you have done it, things in a sport, competed, and coaching high level, this will prove it was an extraordinary ability.
Yeah.
So I got admitted by the UCF as an adjunct professor.
Okay.
From there, we created classes. The classes now, I am a staff. I am one of the guys.
That's so good.
I receive money. I am an employee of the university. This is what it makes a huge difference too.
Very big difference.
Very big difference. But that's not difficult to do it in other universities. There's a lot of universities that have the instructional class with electives. If you can elective, two credit course, 1 credit, 3 credit. If you go to something that relates to it, like kinesiology. But all this, it's not impossible. There is a recipe there.
Yeah.
So I created an institute from that, which is International Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Institute. So we can go over there. We're about to take off with the COVID hit it, and it was really, we're like, whoa, wait a minute. And I felt the necessity to really open a gym. Yeah. And I really decided to open a gym with the right people and in the right place. With some of those.
And even that, finding the right spot, finding the right people, that is a whole lot of work, and you really have to have the right people. I mean, location and people is everything.
Location and people is everything. Yeah. That's it. You have to have a marketing system. You have to have a sales team, or you got to have people capable to make the sale. Pretty impressive. And we talk about this. You can have, I don't know, Bochecha. If everybody knows who Bochecha is, great. Everybody knows who Bochecha is and where he is. Or who he is and where he is. But you don't have anybody making the sales. So the guy come in and go out without making the sales. And you really don't have oxygen to keep the school open.
It's like having a phenomenal coach, but you don't have the team to keep people there. You don't have the team to sign students up for that coach to teach.
Or this. You have somebody who has a great name, like Bochecha.
Yep.
Bochecha is a great name. Everybody know who he is, and everybody know now where he is. But you don't have a salesperson. Oh man, you're not making sales. But even if you do have a salesperson, and Bochecha doesn't know how to teach.
Yeah.
And it happens.
Great athlete doesn't mean great coach, and vice versa.
But we're talking about this. A great coach has to be unselfish.
Yeah.
Right? And you got to give it.
Yeah.
And the athlete has to be the opposite, man. You got to think about yourself. Which is, it's fair to say that he got to think about himself.
Yeah.
Now, he doesn't know how to teach. How will you do this? You have to have some sort of a structure so you can teach the structures to keep teaching. From age group appropriate, for recreational, from competition team, but whatever it is there. And after this, you still have to retain the people.
Yeah.
Retention. Then you know what is retention, brother? Retention is this. Danny, why we're closer? Because we do have relationship. Yeah. It's not just because, I taught the Deco is my brother. But we do. You call me anytime, Liborio. And I'll say, Danny, whatever you need, because of our relationship. Yeah. If you don't have relationships with your students, you don't have retention. You're just on paper. It's just commercial.
That's very, very true.
For that has to be retention. Retention comes to events.
Yeah.
For most part, it's events. Whatever it is, it's events.
Yeah, like little in-house things. And that also, for people who like competition, well, that's kind of their event.
But correct. But it is.
Yes.
Events. Even if you're not competing, if you go there cheer for your team members.
Exactly.
It is.
Yeah.
It is event.
Yeah, and it helps keep that bond. And even like in-house stuff, like you were saying, like today, the seminar.
Correct.
Like, I look at a seminar, especially when it's lineage like that, as I'm showing off my lineage. This is Liborio. Guys, do you understand?
That's it.
Like, it's a pride thing, it's a showing off thing, and it also, like you said, like passing the torch to the next people.
100%. And that's it creates a bond. Then whatever it is, if I get somebody in Rhode Island and say, man, you gotta go talk to Danny. You gotta go that way. Go to the area, you gotta talk to this guy. This is our guy there.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. You go do something in the university, okay? Danny, hey, I got. But this is relationships. It creates the retention on people. Yeah. Because you understand why we're doing this. Yeah. It's not just a technique. Let's say the technique is for competitors at the highest level. You're going to be doing it,
And even the amateur guy, he still wanted to learn.
Yeah.
That is not the most important thing,
Yeah,
man. You know,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
really not.
Yeah.
The most important thing is this.
Yeah, the hanging out, the camaraderie, the
hanging out.
exercise,
Yes.
the clearing your head from a horrible day at work. Yeah. So now with the college, are you guys eventually, was that your plan, is to have other colleges to compete against?
My plan was this, and this is important. My plan is to have 2 universities in every state. This is the easiest thing in
That'd
the
be
world,
awesome.
brother.
Yeah.
The easiest thing in the world is to have 2 universities in every state. I do have it right now.
Yep.
16 universities just in Florida.
Yeah.
16.
Yeah. Pick
16
two.
in Florida. Big 2.
Yeah.
Big 2 to create a rivalry so we can start something.
Yeah.
This is 100 universities in 1 year, 2 years. That's saying in 2 years you have 2 universities in every state.
Yeah.
100 universities.
And then you're gonna see, like you were talking about how jiu-jitsu just continues.
Boom. That's
it's
it.
gonna explode. And then not only explode overall business-wise, but technique and knowledge and
everything.
Yeah.
And culture.
Yes.
And culture, because Danny, this here, this is what you're saying here. You don't have it in other sports.
Yeah.
It's not the
no.
same.
Yeah.
Not the same in judo, it's not the same in wrestling,
Yeah.
it's not the same. Our culture is different.
Yeah.
Because you have this Hezaya.
Yeah.
And we are in the middle of the road there between competition. We can do competition as high level, but we also can do recreational.
Yeah.
And there's some, like I said, man, there's some other sports that's too heavy. It's hurtful.
Yeah.
And
well,
this
like you
is
said,
not.
after a hard day of work in judo is a beautiful martial art, but how many times do you want to get thrown on your head?
Or after 35 years old.
Yes.
How much you can really keep falling.
Yeah. It's
You
tough.
can't. It's just tough.
Yeah.
It's really hard on the body.
Yeah.
All this, that's the growing of the sport of jiu-jitsu, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But beyond anything else, is this, Danny, which is the Hezanga, is the culture of the sport. That you see, it's been seen in a different. This is therapy, man. This is the yoga. Is the yoga? Jiu-jitsu is the new yoga for tough people. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's
what
a good
it is.
analogy. Yeah.
The new yoga for tough people. That's exactly what it is, man. The tough people can do this while we're doing it. If you're not tough, it's okay, go back to yoga. But this is really, it's almost the breathing part, the movement, it's almost like that, brother. You know that. You know?
One of the beautiful things I always loved about jiu-jitsu too is, one, the practicality. 2, it's very hands-on. But even with you telling me, like, we're talking about Hezanga and all the other things that get passed on, and then you wonder, like, is anything going to get lost? And what I mean by that is, say like Taekwondo, whatever you think of it nowadays, at one time it was a little more hardcore, whatever.
Right.
But they always kept this thing where you had to know how to speak Korean, meaning like you had to know how to say a front kick, a reverse punch, side kick, all that in Korean. You had to know how to count 1 through 20 in Korean.
Yep.
You had to know how to run a class. All these little traditions, and you had to know the history of Taekwondo, etc. And I know judo, you have a written exam as well.
Right,
so I always wondered, with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, one thing IBJJF did by being a coach or a competitor, you had to know some basic stuff for the competition, like for IBJJF, because they only speak in Portuguese, for the rule.
names.
Yes. So I almost wonder, should that be put in place in jiu-jitsu to make sure it gets passed on, or should it be exactly how it is, because that's also more of the hands-on?
What I believe is this, Danny. Number 1 is this.
For example, even the belt ranks, right? How should you know how to say this in Portuguese? Should you know how to say white, blue, brown, purple? You know what I mean?
Look at this. We always knew, but there was one thing. America is the capital of the world. America, United States of America, is the capital of the world. If you don't come with a format, like Jiu-Jitsu never done it.
Yeah.
Jiu-Jitsu did not come as judo or Taekwondo. Taekwondo, man, it was something that was formed in Korea.
Yep.
Came from karate in a certain way.
Yep.
In format to fit in certain educational systems.
Yeah.
Judo is the same thing. The bad part about this is that you have a book to tell you what it is.
Yes.
in our form is way more of an art.
Yeah.
In a way, is this. You never cut art out of things.
Yeah.
Because if you cut art and you started saying this is not right.
Yeah.
This is not. It would never have evolution, brother.
That's true. That is very true.
Art is freedom.
Yeah.
Is evolution.
Open-minded.
Open-minded. The
Yeah.
whole thing. This is the art part of it. If I really gonna say to Marcelo Garcia, don't pass the guard this way. I'm cutting out the art on Marcelo and creativity on Marcelo Garcia.
That is huge. I did. Yeah, it's like a musician. You don't.
It's like a musician.
Yeah, let him go.
Let him go.
Yeah.
Let him paint. Let the art they created. It is cool to do this.
Yes.
You have a couple concepts,
Yeah.
and watch out for the concept. But proving me wrong, because it's art.
Yeah.
And you go there and you do your thing, and you can create your Danny position that is going to be, and everybody's trying to strike to have something similar to that, like De La Riva. And you know what I'm saying? Get your name in a position that you create.
Yeah.
Brother, it's art. Don't cut art out of it.
Yeah, that was beautiful what you just said too, where it's here are the concepts, but prove me wrong.
Go there.
That is,
Mix the colors.
Yeah.
Get the notes. Get the stay in the air. Don't cut art of it.
Yeah.
You never cut art of it.
Yeah.
That's the concept. Go play of it.
Yeah.
Go dream with it. You know, let it do it. And that's just going to make us grow.
And that goes back to the brainstorming,
Correct.
right? Just like,
yeah.
You know, and that was the beauty before, like, I'm not saying bad because I think it's all good, but the thing of being able to get YouTube and DVD or whatever, where let's just sit down, let's train, let's grapple. Hey, I've been trying this. Oh, you know what? Maybe try this. And then you add something, you give me something, I give you something. And then you build, like you said, the laboratory.
Deck was telling today that he saw a position, he was showing a position today, that he saw a white belt doing it.
Yeah.
And he go there and the guy put the leg here out of panic or desperation.
Yeah.
The guy did it. And he just, oh man, hold on, what did you do? Just take a look at this. Anybody who's high level jiu-jitsu, you can call him master, is going to have this mentality of, or student, sit down and, hold on man, just do it again.
Yeah.
Let's run this. Try this in here. He can have a more accurate vision of it.
Yeah.
But you never cut art out of this. Don't cut creativity. Don't cut. Those guys that started saying no. Those are guys that try to prove it. It's some sort of getting some sort of respect out of, you know, I don't know, out of discipline or out of disciplinary or no, it's not like this. It's art.
Yeah.
It's the art. If you take the art out of this, we're never going to evolve.
Yeah. And it's good too, you mentioned that, and I've seen you do it as well. When you see a coach giving respect to somebody by saying, oh, I learned this, whatever, from Liborio, blah, blah, blah. And or, hey, you know what? You're humble enough to say, a white belt did this. Guys, check this out.
Yeah, just check this out.
You know, you got to have humility to do that. And, you know, with your time in, Dedeco's time in, to be able to do that, that just, again, to me is the beauty of jiu-jitsu. Keeping humble.
I love it.
Keep growing it.
I love it. Man, one thing, I feel very fortunate, Danny, to be talking to you about 40 years of this and knowing one thing. My life is not perfect like no one is this. Yeah. But I know one thing, man. I love what I do.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I can make money. I'll never be rich with this shit. But I'm going, in the time of going to bed, I still can think of it, man. I love what I do. Man.
Well, I got to tell you, without a doubt, it changes lives. You've changed lives. You and Dedeco have changed my life forever.
You, Denny. How many guys you changed it? No, you're not going to talk about you. I will talk about it. You know, your dedication to competition, your dedication for you. But look, your class is growing, and it's life changing.
Yeah,
it's life changing.
I remember the first time when I moved from my garage and I went to the school in Tiverton, and Dedeco's like, "Hey, Liborio's coming. Do you want him to come? He'll come." And I was like, "Oh my God!" In my school, get out of here! And like I couldn't believe it. And from that day on, like I said, I still 14, 15 years ago used the stuff from that seminar and every seminar you showed.
Oh, that's cool.
And I love hearing
this is our lineage. So now lineage, I think, and go to culture. What I believe, responding also the answer or the question from before is this: the creativity in the positions. I think you have to let it go.
Yeah.
Don't put a standard on it. Don't put a limitation on it.
Yeah, don't put it in a box.
Yes, don't put it in a box. Don't put it in a box. From white to black belt, that's it.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah.
Go there, be creative. Now, the ways we pass it on in terms of culturally, I think is important.
Yeah.
Not talk about just the names on it. You know.
Yeah.
See, the names of positions are baptized in English.
Yeah.
Much more because he didn't come with a structure there from Brazil.
Yeah.
So when he came over here, the American structure, the American educational structure needs from point A to point B. And you business ways to name it.
Yeah.
Nomenclature, create nomenclature on it. And we didn't have it. And it was created. Man, that's it. Perfect.
Yeah.
The American structure on something, it's almost like you got a diamond, brute diamond here, and you turn into the jewelry right there. This is what happened when America came into the place. Now, America has one great thing, man. It's always going to be like this. Americans wants to do judo with the Japanese, taekwondo with the Koreans, Muay Thai with the Thai, and Jiu-Jitsu with the Brazilians. It's still, and this is open up.
Yeah.
Then you don't understand for the Brazilian guys, which is beautiful. You can't understand this as much as, but look at it.
Yeah.
Do you understand how much for the Brazilian culture you have in Jiu-Jitsu influence positively on an image?
Yeah.
On an image. I'm telling you, 70% of my students, Danny, don't know that Brazilians speak Portuguese.
Oh, really?
Everybody in the beginning think that was the Spanish. I'm telling you this.
Really?
And after that, have you ate the churrasco before? Have you ate the acai?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Introducing the culture.
Yeah. Positively.
Yeah.
Because before that it was soccer.
Yeah.
And crime and violence.
Yeah,
There's a lot of things that and guys end up going to Brazil and all those things that you heard it. This is a huge impact.
Yeah.
And Brazilians right now, even Brazilians now that get a little school, they in a certain way created a little embassy in corners of the world that Brazilians usually don't go.
Yeah.
Hey, you're waiting right here, right now.
Yeah.
Brazilians don't usually go to the cold places.
Yeah, I was going to say New England.
New England.
Everyone, like usually Florida, California.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now you see, guys, how much impact the Deco had on this in this area.
Yeah.
In the New England area. It was Alexei has it there in Maine. Positively.
Yeah.
We know good stuff, good image. It's just awesome, man.
Yeah.
We don't. I'm saying this because on the Brazilian side is, man, this is amazing. Imagine that. Imagine for Brazil, Danny, for Brazil, how impactful would be if every college had one class of jiu-jitsu.
Oh yeah.
And you talk about the history,
and even just the opportunity for people to come to teach, like Abu Dhabi, all the coaches going there, and like I just saw on social media one of Formiga's guys who
Oscar.
I remember is Hilito. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right, but I always used to say to him, he never corrected me. But and I remember him from, I don't know, 12 years ago, and he's been over there, probably 8-9 years living there and making good money and having a good life, and it's like, wow, this thing is huge. This thing is huge.
And then did you realize how soon you got into this business way before all this boom?
Yeah.
You did. Driving 1.5 hours to get here in the snow.
Yeah.
For a guy who.
But it's funny. It goes back
in
to
a basement.
what you said.
In a basement on the size of this place.
Yeah.
That's just so cool.
Yeah.
Man, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And how. Look, we're talking about there's states here that still don't have it.
Yeah.
Then you will have it.
Yeah.
But they still don't have it.
Yeah. And I think it goes like when you mentioned the thing of like a lot of Americans. Muay Thai, go to Thailand.
Correct.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you want to go to and you want to keep that strong lineage. And again, like that's what drew me to the Deco. When I went around and I just saw a bunch of places, and New England was very more no-gi MMA, 100%. And then I was like, oh, this is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. This is a whole different thing.
It is.
It is a whole different thing. and the techniques and the layers of techniques.
Yeah.
And even the stuff you were talking about today, and it's kind of out of place now, but when you were talking about distance and range management, and I mean, just those like concepts to throw in, you're like, oh man, this is just endless.
Yeah, it's so endless, man. I learned so much. This thing, I still have this passion. You're talking about this, then you'd show in a position there at a camp. I remember this. Say, man, how cool is this? How cool that you still have, just all because of the art part of it.
Yeah.
That you're still gonna have. I'm still 7 years old. If I go there, I'm still gonna learn.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna learn. It's just wonderful, man.
Yeah.
It's just really wonderful. I hope it never stop there.
Yeah.
I hope I really hope they don't put in a box.
Yeah.
You know, I really hope they don't put in a box. I think that, you know,
don't limit it.
No.
Let it keep growing.
They did with judo, taking out all the leg takedowns.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I felt like it's like Taekwondo when they took away punching okay, you could only punch to the body.
Yeah.
Or, you know, whatever. You can't kick to the legs or whatever. And that was kind of always a part. But judo, okay, no more to what? Separated from jiu-jitsu and wrestling?
No,
Like,
wrestling.
What is this separation?
Separation from wrestling.
Yeah.
But it's distinct. It's shown up really that the separation's on. If you want to take down a wrestling guy, you're going to try to use foot sweeps because they don't use it. And if you want to take down a judo guy, single leg, double leg.
Well, now you're going to,
Well, there you have the holes. It's almost like the heel hooks or footlocks in a certain way.
Jiu-jitsu.
They stopped doing it. They stopped training that.
Yeah.
And people started getting caught on the no-gi because there's so...
Haven't done it.
Have done it.
It's so funny, because and also too, like with that, are you killing the martial art? You're taking so much out of it. Are you killing? Because again, it's not just for the sport. What about the self-defense? You don't want a judo guy to know a double leg, you know, or
And the self-defense part.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, man, it's so necessary people to understand culturally how it is. Jiu-jitsu really is in self-defense, gi, no gi, and the MMA.
Yeah,
and you can't not teach without having this. Because it is so into it.
Yeah.
From MMA part of it, because UFC's in a certain way created the MMA.
Yeah.
Not the Vale but the MMA. And the big stars were the jiu-jitsu guys by surprise.
Yeah.
You know, nobody knew it. And everybody found, man, I got to learn this.
Yeah.
Everybody who was tough said, man, I've got to learn this. I can't get him beat up and submitted.
Yeah.
Much bigger than the guy, much stronger than the guy. And this guy submitted me. I got to learn the shit.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. And you see the evolution of the sport and MMA right now that everybody knows a lot.
Yeah.
You know, you see the...
Yeah, you're not fighting MMA if you don't know jiu-jitsu, wrestling, and kickboxing. You can't. You will not be. You won't go anywhere.
You can't.
Yeah.
You gotta learn.
And even if you're not a big submission hunter, you know what you know because you gotta know how to defend.
Correct.
Yeah. You know, not let people cut angles. Not whatever the case may be.
Correct. You gotta.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, there's so much that we're going to talk about this.
Yeah. I know.
It's true.
So what do you, where are you heading with the college? So are you still going to look at getting 2 in every state? Make sure
That's just one of the dreams.
I'm in. No.
You gotta do
I'm in.
You can't imagine that. 2 in Rhode Island,
I
2
feel like
in New
that's
Jersey.
going to push and evolve this
Different
thing.
level.
Oh my God.
So what I did was this. So this is what happened. We have a club, 500 people. We have the classes, 180 people. And we have the competition team.
That is so
now we did have a competition team.
Yeah. And again, you get the best of both worlds.
Best of both.
The martial artist, who's also a competitor.
That's it.
Yeah.
And from this, now I had an idea and I wanted to do it. So I created an event there. The Daco and Alexei, they went down there.
Yeah.
So this event is called Resenha BJJ. And I thought about this idea came out from this. I was with Bruno Malfacini at the Worlds, and I was down there, and there was almost like the finals, and there was 10 pairs, 10 competitors, 20 competitors, 10 rings, 20 people there.
Yeah.
And there was thousands of people around that night. And I thought of this, man, this is so cool, but how you can reverse this? How you can get the crowd to come in so they can have the same vision that I'm having here right now. You know, how we can do this. So one thing that attracts everybody, it is the seminars.
Yeah.
The seminars, you don't need to be a high level guy. A white belt just started right now.
Yeah.
It's the seminars. another thing that a white belt can do it. It's the open mat.
Oh yeah.
The open mat.
Yeah.
So we created an event that was a seminar, an open mat. There's a hole there on IBJJ after that, I think, is that it is awarding people like you. Then what's your IBJJF just awards one people right now.
Yeah.
It is the high level four times black belt champion.
If you're not competing anymore,
if you're not
like
competing,
it's like you're forgotten about.
and you're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
You know, even if you have competing, but you never went to a high level standard.
ADCC, yeah.
No, even IBJJF, they like I'm very proud in a certain way. I won the black belt division, a black belt super heavyweight division, a black belt on IBJJF.
Yep.
Every year, if I go to the World Championships, they present me with a shirt that is just given to the black belts.
Ah, okay.
So there's one thing for the black belt world champion. But what happened to those guys that made so much for the jiu-jitsu itself, like like even the Daco, like what is that?
Yeah.
So I created an award for the Institute to give guys like you that have done so much for Rhode Island, you know, to put it on a map.
Yeah.
You and other guys too. To put it on a map. That's not a lot of people. It's not a BJJ never going to do it. So this event goes for a seminar and the open mat, which people love it, man.
Yeah.
The concept. It was 1 hour of the open mat where everybody was trained with everybody. We just have the black belts around for unnecessary roughness.
Yeah, kind of keep it in check.
Keep it in check. So got a couple guys there, you just keep it in check. And after that, the award. And after that, the clubs come in to compete was a no-gi grappling.
That's cool.
You know, so you can't, you don't, because otherwise you're going to limit to blue belt and white belt.
Yeah.
So we did a no-gi grappling.
Yeah.
And man, it was a success.
Yeah.
350 people coming into the match. 350 people on the match right there. Denny, it was a super cool event.
Yeah.
You know, very cool event. Imagine if every state has the same thing.
It would be unreal. Unbelievable.
And you can bring everybody. If you're owner of the school, you're going to be awarded. You bring your students for the seminar. You're going to be really probably have students from the university. They have it. Man, it's a perfect combination.
Yeah.
And after that, acai and churrasco. You know, from there you're doing something. It was super cool there in Florida.
Awesome.
You know, you got to do that one day.
Yeah, I would love to come down there. And now that you're telling, I remember seeing pictures of the Deco and Alexei going down there. Now you mentioned, I remember seeing.
Yeah, they both got there. They got a medals. They got a diploma.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
Well, Liborio, I don't want to keep you here too late because it's been a long day and 2 days for you.
No, but
because I know we'll talk forever. I could talk to you forever. But so guys, please.
It's so natural, Dan. It's so natural. Talk to you right now. It's just cool, though. This is really.
Guys, please, legend in the sport. If you're in Orlando, you got to go to Ricardo Liborio's spot. You got to go check out UCF.
Yep.
You know,
everybody's welcome always. You know, especially coming from this guy here. You know, this is really. Danny, I just want to say that this is really one of the guys that have more legit, good feelings about what the sport is. Like I said to you, now I can look at you and like look at the Daco and say, man, we're going to be doing this forever, man.
Yeah.
We can have our struggles like everybody else, but man, there's no regrets in terms of, man, we know what we love it. We wish that we have a couple other things that was, you know, for multi-millionaires, we'd be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Just without worrying about the money.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about the bills. But you're doing it. Yeah.
But you're still loving what you're doing. And this is a privilege, man.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, again, thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing the show, and thank you for the seminar. It's always great to see you. Liborio, thank you, my friend. Thank you. Guys, go train jiu-jitsu. Thank you.